sharp left turn, and here they address themselves to the starting line. Green flag, and Tim Richmond is out with the lead, and to, I think, no one's surprise, Benny, Waltrip settled for second on the break.
He was very fortunate to get second place. Normally, that's the toughest part on starting the outside at Martinsville is how you're going to get inside, because everyone is trying to get inside. Darrell Waltrip, very fortunate today.
Dale Earnhardt rides third, bobbles the car coming off turn number 4. Gets a little loose on him and a quick catch, and they're back into turn 1. Ricky Rudd rides in the 4th spot, and in 5th is Rusty Wallace.
We see Geoff Bodine in the yellow and white car. He's still on the outside, can't get to the inside. Meanwhile, position after position keeps going by him.
You'll see as Bodine is in that outside groove how he'll go backwards in the field. Moving up one position on him was Terry Labonte. Now Richard Petty gets underneath Bodine and picks up a spot. Now we're back at the front of the field with Tim Richmond in 25. And here's Kyle Petty on pit road.
He jumped the start. Mike, he jumped, tried to get a little bit too much of a start on the field. NASCAR pulled him in for a stop-and-go penalty. But meanwhile, the penalty is that all the cars go by him. He has his work cut out for him. He's the last car in the field right now.
You're looking out the windshield. Just ahead, Jimmy Hensley of nearby Ridgeway, Virginia, driving the Elmo Langley car this afternoon, the Sonny King Ford. Up front, it's Richmond, Waltrip, Earnhardt, and Rudd. Then Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte, and Richard Petty.
This great crowd that is at this speedway today certainly is seeing a great race so far. It's just a few laps into the race, but what a great race we're having so far.
Mike Skinner underneath the flag stand where Harold Kinder resides. A long way from where he sits right now to the front of that field.
We can listen carefully. We can hear the engine accelerating down the straightaway as those cars come off the corner and accelerate down the straightaway. We heard Mike Skinner back off and hit the brakes to go in the corner.
Yeah, last year here, unfortunately, we heard Rusty Wallace blow up at the end of that straightaway.
That's right. We did have a camera in his car in the All-Ugard Pontiac.
Tim Richmond leads Darrell Waltrip by the narrowest of margins. The Martinsville paper wouldn't fit between them, and Waltrip now wants to try and run for the lead. He dives into the corner. Richmond tries to hold him down and block the way. No good. And look at Richmond caught to the outside. He'll lose not only the lead, but at least one more spot.
Boy, never has the inside groove been more evident. The strength of the inside groove than just then. Waltrip and Earnhardt both went by Richmond, and Richmond way to the outside lost many spots.
Here's Kyle Petty moving back up after that stop-and-go penalty for jumping the start of the race. His car owned by the famed Wood brothers of Stewart, Virginia. There is an at-speed look at Kyle as he moves to the outside. And up alongside our in-car camera. Ooh, little bump and run there.
Yes, Mike Skinner did not hold the car on the bottom of the racetrack, drifted up just a little bit and scared Kyle Petty to death.
At the head of the pack is Waltrip, car number 11, and Earnhardt, number 3, both in Chevrolets, and both at the head of the Winston Cup point standings. Waltrip is the point leader. Just 23 points behind is Earnhardt. Rusty Wallace, Bill Elliott, and Terry Labonte, the top 5 in the point parade. It's 3 Chevrolets leading a Ford. And here once again at the back of the pack is the battle as Kyle Petty this time ducks to the inside. And Mike Skinner goes around.
It looks like Kyle Petty tried to get the inside and maybe just touched Mike Skinner on the left rear corner panel. And Mike spins out. The caution flag is waved. NASCAR has thrown the caution flag, and we see Mike sitting up against the curbing.
Well, he gets a rude baptism in Winston Cup racing. You know that old saying, what goes around comes around. Well, he just went around, and you saw him get up into the side of Kyle Petty a couple of laps ago. Kyle, with one of the quicker cars in the race, apparently just wasn't going to hold at the back of the pack any longer. And Mike Skinner either got a taste of his own medicine or was the unfortunate victim. So we're under the first caution flag of the day at Martinsville, Virginia. Let's go to pit road, Dick Berggren.
Pit stop strategy today at Martinsville Speedway will be this. After they've gone enough laps to really use their tires up, if the pit stop is taken under a yellow flag, they'll change all 4. On the other hand, if the pit stop is taken under the green flag, there isn't time to change all 4 and still stay on the lead lap. So green flag pit stops, 2 tires will be taken. Yellow flag, 4 tires will be taken. And on every pit stop, every competitor will fill up his car with fuel.
Here's a look out of our in-car camera made possible by United Guarantees Corporation, as Mike Skinner, like many of the other cars, will get some attention from his pit crew.
Then we saw Bobby Hillin in the Mid-American Buick right directly in front of Mike Skinner.
And we'll be right back with more racing action from Martinsville. Getting set for the restart here at Martinsville, Virginia. The Sovereign Bank 500 green flag waves. And you'll note the race leaders stayed on the racetrack during that first caution period and elected not to pit. Waltrip in the 11 car is up front. Earnhardt in the number 3 Chevrolet is right with him. Then it's the Chevrolet of Tim Richmond, the Ford of Ricky Rudd, and the Pontiac of Rusty Wallace.
Look at Earnhardt trying to go by Waltrip on the outside. Earnhardt must think he has a terribly strong car today.
Is it possible, Benny, that his car might work better on cool tires than once they're warmed up?
It's very possible, and that does happen quite often in Winston Cup competition. When a driver's tires are cool, the car works much better than when they're hot. But the cars that work when the tires are hot, that's normally the cars that win the races.
How long does it take, running around a half-mile track like this, for your tires to warm back up to real full operating temperature after a caution period?
Probably 4 or 5 laps. After 4 or 5 laps, they're about as hot as they're going to get.
So essentially, Earnhardt had one good shot at Waltrip, and that's it. Now he's going to have to ride for a while and make up what has become a 2-car length deficit.
That's exactly right. And we see Tim Richmond followed by Ricky Rudd and then Rusty Wallace. I tell you, it looks like, oh,
who's at the wall?
Elliott.
It's Elliott. And a lot of smoke and contact between Rudd and Richmond down at turn 1.
Wow, we had all kinds of action on that lap, and Rusty Wallace is alongside Richmond going in turn 3.
Richmond will have to drop in line, and he does so quickly before Terry Labonte can take advantage of Richmond being in the high groove. And Elliott has a flat right rear from that contact with the wall.
It looks like both right side. Yes, both right side tires are flat.
Elliott comes to pit road. Here's Dick.
Well, here's Bill Elliott in for an unscheduled pit stop for sure. Elliott contacted the wall coming off the short corner a couple of laps ago. Both right side tires have gone flat as a result of that interaction. It's a shame Elliott was pleased. Oh, Gary Nelson from a rival team from Jeff Bodine's team has gone over to help Bill Elliott's crew get the car up so they can get the jack underneath it. That is sportsmanship. Elliott had high hopes for today. He won last night at a local speedway where he made a guest appearance in one of the cars. But he is now down last as a result of this pit stop.
Mike, what happens when these cars have both tires flat on the right side? The car then goes so low to the ground they cannot get the jack underneath it. We saw all of Elliott's crew there trying to pick it up, and Gary Nelson brought a pry bar across from his pit and used that bar to lift the car just enough so Elliott's crew could get the jack under it. As Dick Berggren said, a great sportsmanship gesture on his part.
And another indication why Nelson is one of the top young crew chiefs today. Not only to be worried about what's going on with his own car, but to notice somebody else's problem and take quick action like that.
Correct. Gary Nelson, I think he is, without a doubt, one of the finest young crew chiefs in the business today.
Well, it's about to get busy here at Martinsville, Virginia, as race leader Darrell Waltrip has nearly caught the tail end of the field, Jimmy Means. He and Earnhardt have opened up a wide margin over the rest of the pack. Here's a good battle with Richard Petty, Jeff Bodine, Joe Rutland, and Bobby Allison.
I see that Jeff Bodine has gotten to the inside, not before Richard Petty could get by him, and now Bodine trying to get by Richard Petty down the front straightaway, can't make it. It looks like that Richard's got all these cars behind him right now, and it looks like that Richard's holding them up. If they could get by, they would go on and lead Richard.
Bodine in car number 5 is one of this track's winningest drivers. In modified and sportsman competition, he has one Winston Cup victory here as well in this race 2 years ago. Here is a look out our in-car camera, and here is a lot of smoke from Bill Elliott.
Bill Elliott looks like he has blown an engine. I'm not sure that's what's wrong, but it looks like he has blown an engine, Mike. And if he has, that might be the first time in competition he's blown an engine in 2 or 3 years. This car never has engine problems, but it sure looked like it just as we saw the smoke coming out of the back of that car.
Now, the Elliots build their own engines in Dawsonville, Georgia, but team leader Ernie Elliott has been down with mononucleosis. So last week in North Wilkesboro, they had purchased an engine from another company, Prototype Engines. But we understand that here at Martinsville, it is an Ernie and Dan Elliott power plant that's underneath the hood. The oil on the racetrack will bring out the caution for the second time today.
There's Junior Johnson, the car owner on Darrell Waltrip's Budweiser Chevrolet, signaling Darrell, come in the pits. Let's change these tires. Now all the cars are coming in. There was the Earnhardt, Wallace, Terry Labonte. There's Richmond and Bodine both coming in their pits. Look at it looks like a colony of ants swarming around trying to service these automobiles. Darrell's going to get 4 tires. Jeff Hammond brings the jack around, swings it around. And Mike, let me tell you, when you're down there, you better get out of their way when they swing that jack around.
The long lens make it look like an ant farm, Benny. A feeding time at the zoo, to say the least. We're under the second caution of the day at Martinsville Speedway in the Sovereign Bank 500, and look at the cars jump off pit road, and a near traffic jam ensues.
There's Bodine is coming off pit road. Joe Rutten to beat Richard Petty out.
Here's Bobby Hillin Jr. getting service from the Stavola brothers Miller crew, and Neil Bonnet has become the race leader. He has stayed out on the racetrack.
There we see Elliott's crew pushing their Coors Ford, their Coors Mellon Ford, around behind pit wall. It looks like it's over the day for Bill Elliott.
Not the best that can be said, Benny. If you're going to blow an engine here, better at 50 laps than 450. Unlike past NASCAR races, the cars on the lead lap line up on the inside here at Martinsville for the first time. We'll restart in a moment. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
They would have to push him back, and still I don't think he can get out. So he has to sit there and wait for Richard to get finished regardless.
Fueling complete on both cars. Left side tires after the rights. Petty is away. Take a little more time on Ricky Rudd's car, and he has to dodge a tire left out in the middle of pit road and almost gets in contact with Alan Kulwicki.
He almost did. Here we see Joe Ruttman's Quaker State Buick with the hood up.
And we're getting set to go back to racing. Ruttman's going to have to hurry to get back on the racetrack.
He better hustle because these cars are ready to go racing.
Green flag, and it's Earnhardt on the right side of your screen. The blue and yellow Chevrolet, number 3, that has the lead. Waltrip in hot pursuit, then Bodine, Terry Labonte, and Tim Richmond.
And I see that Joe Ruttman did make it back on the racetrack and still stayed in the same lap.
Neil Bonnet in car number 12 is almost, he is just barely 1 lap down. Earnhardt puts him away as they come down the front straightaway and go back to 1. Now Waltrip ducks inside his Junior Johnson stablemate, and Bonnet will slide back another spot in the field.
Very difficult to get those laps back, particularly when you have to start on the outside. As we talked about, the new rule change for today, the slower cars start on the outside on a restart. Very hard to get that lap back once you are a lap down, as Neil Bonnet is.
So the point standing leader, Dale Earnhardt, or rather the point standing leader, Waltrip, trails Dale Earnhardt off turn 2, and there's a little bump and bang, and guess who? It's Mike Skinner, our in-car camera, once again colliding with Kyle Petty.
Looks like that Mike Skinner tried to avoid Kyle, went down and hit that curve we see on the inside of the racetrack. There's a better shot. The 19 car is Mike Skinner. That is our in-car camera car. Alongside to him is right now Ricky Rudd, as Rudd goes by Marcus and Skinner in the same straightaway.
Lots of contact at Martinsville. That's what brings out record crowds here every time they run. And look at that packed house on the back straightaway. Up front, watching 2 of the very best in the business on the short tracks, Earnhardt, the race leader, and Waltrip. Fifth place is the battle as we rejoin the Sovereign Bank 500 at Martinsville, Virginia. Harry Gant and Joe Ruttman. Gant in 33, the Skull Bandit. He's the defending champion of this race. Travis Carter, his crew chief. And Joe Ruttman in the Quaker State Buick.
Saw Ruttman in turn 1. It looked like he was going to try Harry Gant on the outside, and he lost a lot of ground.
Back up at the front of the field, Waltrip in 11 is the leader. Earnhardt in 3, Bodine in number 5. That's the front 3, and a bit of smoke from Richard Petty's car.
Richard Petty, there is heavy smoke out of the back of the STP Pontiac. And it looks like Richard is off the pace as he goes down in turn 1.
Then he looks like rear-end smoke. It's not coming from the engine compartment, but just wafting up from beneath the rear bumper.
We talked about Martinsville being hard on brakes. It also is very hard on the rear gearing, the rear end of the automobile, the third member, some people calls it. The cars accelerate so hard off the corner that the heat builds up in those gears, and that might be what's happened. He might have burned up that third member in the Pontiac.
At Martinsville, a car can be as low as 4,000 RPM in the middle of the corner and as high as 8,500 at the end of the straightaway. And that just puts a tremendous amount of stress on all the components.
It sure does. All the components, the engine, the transmission, and also the rear end. And, you know, Richard Petty's, when his crew looked under the automobile, they didn't even look, they didn't even raise the hood. They did look under the rear, so that's probably what's wrong with the car.
They've sent Petty behind pit wall, and Dick Berggren will be with him in a moment. Waltrip continues to lead with Earnhardt in the second spot. There's Jody Ridley, who just made a lap up on that caution. Let's go to pit road.
Well, Richard Petty is in the pit area, and this is not a good sign. A lot of smoke was coming from underneath the rear end of that automobile, and they're preparing to jack it up to change the rear gears. Rear gear problems are a real likely thing to have happen here at Martinsville Speedway. This racetrack puts an especially large amount of pressure on the rear end of the automobile.
And here's Tim Richmond on pit road with the hood up on his car.
The pole sitter on pit road, and he has trouble. They've got the hood up, and he has the window down now, and that's a bad sign.
Richmond winless since March of 1984, trying to break a long losing streak. And with this new team and Harry Hyde as crew chief, great things were expected. At the front of the pack, the battle for second spot has Terry Labonte.
That's Labonte is being lapped, Mike. I know the car is off the pace. The Piedmont Airline Oldsmobile is off the pace. These cars are going by and passing at will.
So Labonte, who was running in the top 10, now goes a lap down to race leader Waltrip, Earnhardt, and Bodine. There is Dale Earnhardt, one tough customer. I wonder if that was his slogan before it was his sponsors.
I tell you what, he is one tough customer. This year, 1986, he has been so dominant in Winston Cup competition.
Well, here's Terry Labonte's crew chief, Steve Beal. Steve, you folks are not with the pace right now. What's the situation with your car?
Now, we gambled there'd be another caution. We changed 2 tires instead of 4 trying to get to the front of the pack. We just lost our gamble, and the car's real loose right now.
So you need another caution flag for another set of tires?
Now, about 10 laps ago.
They're having problems with the 44. They need to change that chassis.
Benny, used to be under caution flags. You could make a leisurely pit stop, but not so anymore on the short track. You've just got to rush down pit road as fast as you can to get a place near the front of the line, or it's going to have a long day.
The competition in Winston Cup competition today, Mike, is so intense. We see Bobby Allison and Darrell Waltrip. Darrell trying to put Bobby a lap down, but it's going to be a hard chore because these cars are so evenly matched. Waltrip's car today exceptionally strong, and it doesn't take him long to get by Bobby. Normally, that might take 5 or 6 laps to get by him.
Allison, too, is enduring a long winless streak. And in 25 years of racing, he has never won at Martinsville Speedway. He's won at every other track on the Winston Cup Tour, but never here.
And from the looks of things, he's not going to win today because his car is just not strong enough to compete with some of these other cars today.
So Waltrip's number 11 Chevrolet has to deal with a lot of race traffic right now. Richmond goes bounding up and over the curb as Earnhardt and Bodine come to lap him.
They took Richmond's car behind the wall and worked on it, and he's back on the racetrack, but we can see he's not up to speed yet.
There are the Waltrip brothers. Darrell, the number 11, leading this race, and Mike Waltrip, one of the top rookies on the tour, in 23. Here's Earnhardt underneath Dave Marcus, another tough customer when it comes to side-by-side racing. And now Jeff Bodine in the number 5 Chevrolet works underneath Marcus.
We saw Darrell, the Kyle Petty automobile right behind Bodine. I think that's the first time we've seen him on camera today that he wasn't alongside Mike Skinner.
Good point. Now, next time you see the right side of Waltrip's car number 11 has the right door on Earnhardt's number 3. You'll see some lines that look like they were drawn in circular fashion with a black magic marker. Those are tire marks caused by just the close, intense competition here at Martinsville. The cars literally get together. And you'll pull a set of tires off of one car that has the paint from another all over the sidewalls.
They sure do. The sidewalls they have red sidewalls and yellow sidewalls and white sidewalls on these racing tires.
Earnhardt cuts to the inside on Bobby Hillin as here's Richmond back on pit road, and it looks like he'll go behind the wall.
The report we had a moment ago is that Richmond had a brake problem and was working on that. And it looks like he still has a brake problem because it looks like the crew's trying to stop the automobile and trying to help it stop because he doesn't have any brakes.
Jeff Bodine in number 5 getting underneath Bobby Allison. Allison has already gone a lap down to the race leader. who is Darrell Waltrip, car number 11, moving up on the DK Ulrich Chevrolet of Trevor Boys.
Waltrip has things going his way today, Mike. This is one of the better runs for Darrell Waltrip this year. 86 has not been a good year, but today looks like he may change some things.
Well, Tim Richmond is still in the Folgers Coffee Chevrolet, but it looks like they'll be behind pit wall for a while.
Well, here's our pole sitter, Tim Richmond, obviously disturbed to be behind the wall. Timmy, brake problems?
Yeah, we've had a brake problem the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I was afraid this would be the same case, and it is. We've got a malfunctioning brake system. It's not just a case of Martinsville ate the brakes up. The brakes were right to start with, and we weren't sure, and now we are. So.
Do you have any brakes at all, or is it just that they're not working properly?
No, there's no brakes whatsoever, none at all. I had to use the gearbox and the kill switch to even stop it coming in the pit. There's none whatsoever. You can see the pedal down in there if you want to look at it. There's just none.
It does. It goes right down to the floor. Tim Richmond up on jacks behind pit wall. They are working on his brakes right now.
You can imagine what a sinking feeling that might be at 55 miles an hour. We'll try it at the end of one of these drag strip straightaways, running 120 miles an hour, and push your foot to the floor and feel nothing but mush in the pedal.
Makes me glad I'm up here with you, Mike Joy, watching these fellas.
You're watching Dale Earnhardt in the number 3 Wrangler Chevrolet, leaving the Levi Garrett machine in its dust, but only by a car length. And that's not a lot of breathing room on a tight, tough short track such as Martinsville. There's Kyle Petty in the number 711 car, number 711 car that is, as he moves up, trailing Bobby Allison off the corner. And Labonte's in trouble.
Oh, my goodness.
He almost lost it, and how he brought that car around straight, I can't imagine.
Mike Joy, I am absolute. That was incredible that Labonte could be that far out of shape and save the automobile. And obviously, with a flat tire, something is wrong with the automobile. I don't know how in the world he saved the car.
Well, he looked like he was on one of the nation's premier dirt tracks instead of here at Martinsville. He's staying out, though, and now finally comes to pit road. Bit of smoke from the left rear of his car.
Yes, Mike, it looks like the left rear tire is flat on the automobile. The Piedmont crew is waiting for him. We see him lifting the left side, trying to get the car up, just like in Bill Elliott's case a moment ago.
Harry Labonte in for an unscheduled pit stop. That left rear tire simply exploded on the main straightaway. And interestingly enough, one of Jeff Bodine's crew members came over with the same tool that they had previously loaned to Bill Elliott.
They ought to rent that thing out.
They need to.
We'll be right back. You're watching the man with the hottest hand and wins the Cup racing on pit road. Dale Earnhardt has won the last 2 races in a row, snapping an 11-race streak of different winners at Darlington and last week at North Wilkesboro. He becomes the first repeat winner of the 1986 season.
We also saw the fastest crew in Winston Cup competition. They have won the Union 76 championship the last 2 years.
Now, these will be green flag pit stops, where the speed of those pit crews is critical. We've not had a caution flag since Mike Waltrip spun out back at lap 89. And we're right now up past the halfway point.
We saw the Wrangler crew just a moment ago, Dale Earnhardt's crew, change the right sides, and Darrell Waltrip is out of fuel. Mike, he has ran out of gasoline. He's weaving the car back and forth, trying to get that last drop out of the tank to go in the fuel line. It looks like it worked because it looked like the car picked up just as he went in turn 3, but he's coming down pit road now.
Darrell Waltrip, he is out of gas. He was shaking the car, trying to bring some fuel into this automobile. He is absolutely out. They don't yet have the ether under the hood. No, he does have the car running. The car is running. Waltrip now 1 tank of fuel in. This is a green flag pit stop. He was the last of the front-running 3 to come in and make his stop. Outside tires, change, fuel in.
Now, Dick mentions ether. Those of you that live in the north know you can squirt a little ether into the carburetor and help start a real cold engine. Well, you can do that also with a car that's run out of gas. Those of you who were in the south in February know that Dale Earnhardt did that at Daytona, and it detonated the engine, which eventually blew up and cost him a shot at winning the race.
That's exactly right. So they want to use that ether very sparingly on these pit stops. We see Waltrip being hounded by Joe Rudman's Buick right now, the Quaker State Buick, giving Waltrip all he wants.
He's running right behind Jeff Bodine, the yellow and white Levi by Garrett Carr. And here's Richard Petty.
He's repaired. He did put a new third member in the STP Pontiac, and he's back on the racetrack trying to get as many Winston Cup points as he can. The car right behind him is our camera car, Mike Skinner, as we watch Ricky Rudd to bring the Motorcraft Ford in for his pit stop. Rudd, we see, has ran in the back of someone. He has no grill at all in the Ford. He's knocked it out.
Looks like the front end of one of those Detroit taxi cabs.
A little bit.
Sorry, folks, that's an inside joke.
Yes. That's what I used to do before I started driving a race car, was drive taxi cabs in Detroit.
It must have been good practice. I'm glad I wasn't one of your fare-paying passengers.
I've had a few cabs look like Ricky Rudd's Motorcraft Ford. There's Harry Gant, Chevrolet, Skoal Bennett Chevrolet. Right in front of Tommy Ellis. Harry Gant running very well today. Started back in the middle of the pack. Wasn't looking for a good day, but it basically has been a good day for Harry Gant.
And here's Waltrip on pit road again.
And this is trouble. They go under the hood of the car.
Well, Darrell Waltrip is in for the second of the round of pit stops. These are unscheduled. Problem obviously overheating. They're aiming water at the radiator, trying to cool it off. They're also adding water to the system as if it may have leaked some water out. Waltrip obviously unhappy to be sitting here. He has run with the lead. He has been among the cars all day.
Well, spraying water at the radiator is kind of like putting on a Band-Aid when you need stitches.
That's not going to help very much. The crew very calmly walked away from the car, and Waltrip goes back on the racetrack. They sure didn't seem to be in any kind of hurry.
There's J.D. McDuffie, veteran campaigner. A quick look at his number 70 Rumpel furniture car. And, Benny, I'm surprised that not too many of these cars have gotten rumpled today. It's a favorite expression here in Martinsville, where the bump and bang or fram and bam is more the order of the day.
But it has been a good, clean race. You're exactly right. We've seen a great race. We've seen great competition, but we haven't seen a lot of cramming and bamming as usually goes on at Martinsville.
Harry Gant heads up the straightaway, and here is Waltrip taking his car behind the pit wall. Jeff Hammond and crew will pop the hood.
See the fellow on the right side shaking? That is radiator sealant. That's the sealant they're going to put in the radiator to try to seal wherever the water is coming from.
Kind of like Maalox for automobiles.
Exactly.
There's a look at Dale Earnhardt, and Ricky Rudd is in hot pursuit. Rudd in that Motorcraft Ford. Earnhardt, the Wrangler Chevrolet.
And Rudd is gaining on him.
Darrell, is it a simple overheating problem, or is there more?
No, it's engine fluid. We ran out of gas, and they came in and they shot ether in the engine fluid.
Well, Darrell Waltrip says the head gasket is blown. That is it. That is an unfixable problem in the pits.
My joy, that surprises me because I did not see them put ether in the automobile. But as you talked about, a little bit of that stuff goes a long way.
And apparently went a little too far to save Darrell Waltrip's day. You're watching the leader, Harry Gant of Taylorsville, North Carolina. And you talk about short track specialists. This fella built houses during the day and worked on his race car all night for many, many years, running the late model sportsman circuit before he made it the Grand National, now Winston Cup competition.
And there's Neil Bonnie coming down the pit road, and he has an engine problem. It looks like there's heavy smoke out of the back of that automobile. And yes, the smoke is coming out of the front of the car, which signifies engine problem.
Not been the best of days for Bonnet. He led early in the race when he stayed on the racetrack on the second caution flag. Everybody else pitted. But this is not their short track car. They wrecked that automobile very badly at Bristol, Tennessee a few weeks ago. And he's had to run the same car here that he took to Darlington and North Wilkesboro.
There we see Derek Cope, the 79 car. Derek Cope, a young man from Washington State, trying to make a go in Winston Cup competition.
He's a veteran of the NASCAR West Coast Tour. As our onboard camera car, number 19, does a little bit of skating around the Martinsville Speedway, with Ricky Rudd coming up to put another lap on the Mike Skinner machine. Here is Gant with Bobby Hillen in tow. Hillen is a lap down. The young driver from Midland, Texas, has had some strong runs in the 1986 season, including top 5 finish at the Daytona 500.
Tell you what, that young man has been... Oh, Harry Gant has a problem.
Gant the race leader got sideways. Tons of smoke from the back of his car.
And I can't tell if it's coming out of the front or the back. The crew, we can tell where they go to. The crew is going to raise the hood of the automobile, so he must have an engine problem.
Gant, the defending winner of this race, looking for his first 1986 triumph, has brought out the 5th caution flag of the day. A two-time winner at Martinsville. This will definitely hurt Harry Gant's chances if he's able to get back in this race.
The problems look terminal. They're walking around very slowly.
You know, Gant's another driver like we talked about early in the show. Morgan Shepherd, Jeff Bodine, and Harry Gant. Add him to the list of drivers who scored their first Winston Cup victory at this racetrack. You saw being pushed behind the pit wall. What a way to go.
It is a very, very depressing day for Harry Gant. Last year's winner, hoping to repeat and running well enough, couldn't make it.
Just not long enough. On the restart, Jeff Bodine down to the inside will battle against Terry Labonte. Labonte in the Piedmont Airlines Olds 44 trying to get back on the lead lap. There's Ricky Rudd, the second place car, number 15. Labonte takes it hard into the corner, and he may have a shot to get back on the lead lap here.
I tell you what, this is one of the best races we have been able to see all day. Two cars side by side. Labonte on the outside, the hardest way, but he's able to keep up with Bodine. Look at them as they go to the corner side by side.
Terry Labonte is the 7th place car. Now right behind him is Ken Schrader in the Red Baron Pizza Ford in 8th spot. Only 6 cars are on the lead lap, but 2 big stories there. Kyle Petty, who remember on the very start of this race got black flag and had to come all the way from the tail end, and hometown favorite Buddy Arrington is riding in the 6th spot. He's still on the lead lap.
What a great day. If Buddy Arrington could win this race, I think the crowd would erupt, because you're right, has lived in Martinsville, Virginia all his life, and I know that probably 20% of the people here are local, and they'd love nothing better than to see Buddy Arrington have a good day.
Well, a lot of folks from Piedmont and Winston-Salem want to see Labonte, who was outside, gets inside Bodine and gets right into the back bumper of Bodine Chevrolet. Now let's see what Labonte can do with the race leader on the inside of the racetrack.
Well, he was able, oh, look at Ricky Rudd and Bodine get together one more time.
Well, Rudd looked for a hole that opened up and closed just as quickly, and it wasn't there by the time he got there. He's going to lose 2nd spot to Earnhardt.
Earnhardt is going to take over the spot.
And a lot of smoke, this time from Tommy Ellis's car, number 18.
What a depressing thing to happen to Tommy Ellis. Great run going. One of his best runs of the year.
And that'll bring the caution flag out for the 6th time today. Here's Jeff Bodine getting service.
Mike, there's something wrong with the Levi Garrett Chevrolet. The crew frantically looking under the car, shaking the car. They're working inside the car. They aren't changing any tires. They're just looking around.
Gary Nelson talks to his driver. Meanwhile, Dick Bergeron's caught up with Harry Gant.
Well, while you were running, Harry Gant, you were running like a bandit.
Yeah, we run real good. We thought this might be our turnaround for the season, but yeah, I just running about half throttle, killing the brakes, and I don't know why, but it just broke.
The engine blew.
Yeah.
What's the racetrack like now, Harry? Is it greasy? Is it slippery? How is it?
It's real slick. That's the reason I was running so easy. I was just trying to keep the tires from spinning and not use any brakes.
It's obviously a disappointed man. You were running so well today.
Yeah, I tell you the truth, we had plenty left. We were just trying to conserve these brakes. Crew did a good job. We got one bad set of tires, really. We had to play catch up.
You look pretty tired. It must be hot in the car today.
It's really hot. I'm just mentally exhausted.
Tommy Ellis needed a good finish today. He put on a good run in that effort.
It's hard to say if he's overcome by the heat or by emotion there.
I think it's a little bit of both, Mike Joy, because it was an emotional day for Tommy Ellis to lead the race, coming back after it looked like his racing career, his Winston Cup career was over.
Dale Earnhardt is at the head of the field. He is trying to make it 3 in a row. A winner 2 weeks ago at Darlington, South Carolina in the track up at North Wilkesboro.
And he's right away, 2 or 3 car lengths on Ricky Rudd's Ford. About 4 car lengths right now.
And you see the torque differential the Chevrolet enjoys over the Ford right here.
Well, I think Martinsville is a great racetrack for the Chevrolets with the faster accelerating small block engines.
Rudd said this morning, and that's Rudd's car number 15, center of your screen, that the racetrack would have to come to them for their Bud Moore Ford to have a good shot today to win. That is, if the track really got greased up to where the Chevrolets could not get all that power to the ground coming off the corner, the Ford might have a chance.
Well, I tell you what, it's a warm day out there, and the racetrack looks to me like it's getting a little bit slippery, so it may be coming to Ricky Rudd.
Rudd has a lot of heat on him, and that's Joe Ruttman, car number 26, the Quaker State Buick, running very tightly behind him. Ruttman is the third-place car. Jeff Bodine, Kyle Petty, and Buddy Arrington are the other cars on the lead lap. You see Terry Labonte at the top of the screen, number 44. Labonte is a lap off the pace. He is the 7th-place car. Ken Schrader is 8th. Bobby Allison is 9th. And rookie Derek Cope is 10th.
All the drivers coming out of their cars today are saying this is a very, very hot day. The outside temperature isn't that hot, but there isn't a breath of air. There's no breeze blowing through here, and it is bothering absolutely everyone, including us on pit road. It's really hot.
Good day for selling suntan oil, though.
It sure is. You know, the lead right now, Earnhardt's lead is kind of maintaining. He jumped out to a 4 or 5 car length lead on Ricky Rudd right after the caution flag, and right now it's 5 or 6 car lengths. So Rudd doing a good job keeping up with the Chevrolet.
In fact, it looks like Joe Ruttman's Buick may in fact be quicker than Ricky Rudd, but catching him is one thing and passing him, especially on a track this narrow and this tough, is another thing.
There's Gary Nelson, the crew chief, on Jeff Bodine's lead by Gary Chevrolet alongside one of the NASCAR officials.
J.D. McDuffie, a lot of smoke from the Rumpel Furniture car. And it looks like J.D., who later this season will start his 600th career Grand National race, may be calling it a day for this afternoon.
It sure looks like he has some type of terminal problem because there was some heavy smoke out of the automobile. But he was low enough on the racetrack that we're going to keep on running on the green flag. There's not going to be a caution flag because of J.D.'s problem.
Now Rudd has begun to put some distance between himself and Joe Ruttman, the 3rd-place car. But Ruttman closes it right back up in the corners and almost gets Rudd a tap as they come up on the slower car.
It looks like that Joe Ruttman is really trying to save the brakes, that he's going in the corner and not using a lot of brakes, but what happens, he's almost running in the back of Ricky Rudd when he does that.
They're the lead trio. At the bottom of your screen, Earnhardt, the red and white number 15 car is Rudd, and there's Ruttman, 26. They just put another lap on Trevor Boys, the Canadian driver. He in the DK Ulrich, number 6 Chevrolet. And there's a little smoke from Earnhardt's car. There's a lot of smoke from Earnhardt's car.
Yes, Earnhardt has a problem. He's up out of the groove, and there goes Rudd and Joe Ruttman, both by Earnhardt, definitely off the pace. I can't believe it. It's a jinx to leave the race here today, Mike. If you get the lead, your car blows up.
That's the team that has won the last 2 weeks in a row. And it's evident they will not win today at Martinsville, Virginia.
Earnhardt just coasting down.
Well, if that is indeed the engine, it's a rare engine failure for Lou LaRosa. Chief engine builder on that car. Earnhardt has 6 top 10 finishes in the 7 races so far this season.
Dale Earnhardt now sitting in his pit area. This is not at all the way they anticipated this to end. He had a red rag around his face. He's inclined to take a drink of water. They do have the hood up. No frantic activity here. What a disappointment for this team that has run so well here this afternoon at Martinsville Speedway, despite adversity. Dale Earnhardt on pit road. Caution flag on the speedway as the cars continue to put him down flat.
Earnhardt's about to climb out of the Wrangler Chevrolet. He will not win his 3rd race in a row on the Winston Cup Tour today at Martinsville, Virginia. Dick Berggren waiting alongside to interview the Winston Cup Point runner-up.
Well, you had quite a run for yourself this afternoon.
Well, we did. You know, this Wrangler Goodwin Chevrolet was doing a super job. We were just sitting there riding and taking our time. I think we broke a camshaft or something, but, you know, it won't hurt Curtis in the point's too awful bad. Rusty and Darrell both had trouble, so we'll all stay even and race some more.
Earlier in the event, the crew said that you were not feeling well. You look fine now.
Well, there's gas fumes coming up from the exhaust, and I got right into that one time, but they gave me an ice towel and wet rag, and got cooled off a little bit. I was all right.
One tough customer. He'll be back. Count on it.
Joe Ruttman works underneath Bobby Hillin. Ruttman is now the second-place car. Hillin is running at least one lap down, and he is currently posted in the 7th slot. Ahead of him, 6th is Buddy Arrington, the local favorite. And in 5th, rookie driver Alan Kulwicki having an outstanding run today.
Both Buddy Arrington and Alan Kulwicki, both in their Fords, having an absolute great run. Ricky Rudd just passing cars at will as he goes through the corner.
Denny, as we talked earlier, there's Bodine running off the pace. And
He is going down pit road and is off the pace. You're right. I didn't see any smoke out of the car, but it certainly doesn't look like the car is running.
Jeff Bodine, the Daytona 500 winner, who scored his first Winston Cup victory right here at Martinsville, Virginia, in a spring race 2 years ago.
Dick Berggren is in the Jeff Bodine pit.
Well, Jeff Bodine is back in the pits yet one more time. The engine is silent at this moment. Bodine pumping the throttle, trying to get it started. This is really a shame. These guys absolutely thought they were going to win this event today. They worked harder on the car certainly than any other team. On Friday, when some of the teams weren't even here, Bodine and his crew were changing engines, trying to get one that would give them just a few more horsepower. And when the engine that they practiced with seemed better than the one they changed to, they put it back in again. That is the engine that right now is giving them all this trouble.
Well, the fellow in the black shirt is Chief Engine Builder Randy Dorton. He's the guy responsible for the power plant in that car. And here is Arrington on pit road, and what a heartbreaker this must be for the panel knits Ford.
It seems like every time we talk about someone, they have an engine problem today.
There is Ricky Rudd in the Ford, and counting Rudd, Kulwicki, and Kyle Petty, Buddy Arrington, Ken Schrader, and Derek Cope. Half of the top 10 are Ford automobiles, and that is certainly far from what we expected at the start of this race.
Well, it's unusual in the Winston Cup event for half the top 10 to be Fords, but much less at Martinsville, where the GM cars for years seem to have enjoyed such an advantage accelerating off these turns.
3 Buicks and an Oldsmobile, the rest of the top 10. Here's Dick Berggren.
Well, hometown favorite Buddy Arrington, you gave it an awfully good run today.
Yeah, we had a good run going. It just, I guess it busted a piston or something. It just wasn't. I was trying to catch Kyle. I think I pushed too hard. And I would have caught him in a few more laps and just stayed together. But, you know, that's racing. What can you say? That's first engine we lost since we went to Forward, so that's pretty good luck.
Buddy Arrington with a very strong run here this afternoon at Martinsville. Behind pit wall, disappointed certainly.
Arrington had a chance to be the 4th or 5th place car, and there on the right side of your screen is Linda Rudd keeping the lap count and the gas mileage for husband Ricky in the Bud Moore Fitz. Childhood sweethearts. They grew up on the same street down at Chesapeake, Virginia.
I didn't know that. You're full of tidbits of information, aren't you, Mike?
Information. That's right, Benny.
There's a second place runner, Joe Rudman, coming off the corner, putting another lap on Michael Waltrip, Darrell's younger brother.
And here's Terry Labonte and Tim Richmond. Now, Labonte is posted as the 3rd place car, even though he is 4 laps off the race pace. And Rudd has overlapped Joe Ruttman. So Rudd's Motorcraft Ford, the Bud Moore machine, is now on a lap by itself at the head of the field. There is Rudd, the race leader, looking for his 2nd Martinsville triumph and his 1st in a Ford. He drove Richard Childress' Chevrolet here to victory in the fall race in 1983.
10 laps to go. It looks like we talked earlier about Ricky Rudd said he needed for the racetrack to come to him. And it looks like it did. Bobby Allison getting the car a little sideways, exiting turn 4.
I give Allison a lot of credit. He has fought an evil handling car all day long, but he is 8 laps down, but still hanging in there. He won't win his first Martinsville race this afternoon, but he's a game competitor, and Benny, don't be surprised to see him right in the thick of that chase for the Winston Cup when the season heads toward its conclusion.
You're right. He is a game competitor. Bobby's about 48 years old right now, but goes at each race just like he was a youngster, 25 years old.
Tim Richmond, well back in the field after losing his brakes earlier. Back on the racetrack, they have made some sort of repair to his Folgers Chevrolet, and he's back out in the contest. There's Jerry Cranmer just ahead of the race leader Rudd, the modified stock car driver from New Jersey, who is driving the James Hilton car in Cranmer's Winston Cup competition debut. He's had a pretty fair run of it. Lost a lot of time behind the pit wall when the battery went dead, of all things. But he's back out. It looks like he'll finish the event as well.
Look, he has looked very good on the racetrack today. Kept his nose clean, kept out of trouble. We watched Joe Rudman as he exits turn 2 down the back straightaway one more time. He's running out of laps. He's not going to catch the 4 today, it doesn't look like.
There's Bobby Hillen and rookie Alan Kulwicki. Number 35, the Quincy Steakhouse Ford. Kulwicki, for a rookie driver, most of these teams have 7 or 8 race cars, 4 or 5 at least for the various tracks. Quincy Carr, with Kulwicki aboard, has run every race since Daytona at the start of the season, where he ran the qualifying race but didn't make the show, with the same race car.
In Winston Cup competition, that's unheard of these days. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Al Kulwicki, and he has another Ford to run in Talladega just a week from now. So he's going to be able to rest his car for the first time in 2 or 3 months.
Watching Ricky Rudd head up into turn number 3. There is Terry Labonte, the third-place car, number 44, the Piedmont Oldsmobile. And Tim Richmond, who is running way back in the running order. Richmond is about 120 laps behind.
I don't think he's going to win today.
Got to get those Winston Cup points, though. That's why Richmond returned to the race after losing the brakes earlier. Joe Ruttman will have a good day if he can hang on to second place in that Quaker State Buick. He has Meyer back in 16th in the Winston Cup standings. He's had 2 top 5 finishes, but otherwise a lot of DNFs to show for the 7 races run thus far on the circuit. He is 3 laps ahead of this car you're watching, number 44, Labonte. And here's Kyle Petty, who after that bobble at the start, when he jumped the green flag, fought his way back. He is just 4 laps off the lead pace. As we see a bit of smoke from one car up ahead of Kyle Petty and the Mike Skinner machine.
I couldn't tell what car that was smoking, but you're right, there was some pretty serious smoke.
Looked like Morgan Shepherd in the Kodak Films car.
I think you're exactly right, Mike. I think it was Morgan.
Well, that is halfway around the racetrack from race leader Ricky Rudd. Despite losing the grill and bashing in the front end of that car early on, Rudd has hung on and opened up a lap margin on the field. He takes the white flag from starter Harold Kinder, and the Chesapeake, Virginia driver who started his career in go-karts as a youth, progressed to the Winston Cup division, and he got his first Winston Cup victory right here
in Martinsville, and this is his first victory of the year. 1986 hasn't treated Ricky Rudd kindly. His first victory, but we saw him take the checkered flag and get his first victory. Bud Moore on the radio being congratulated by Wayne Tarnas of Goodyear.
Well, Wayne probably took some of Bud's money on the golf course yesterday. Bud will win a bunch back today, $40,800 to the Motorcraft Ford team of veteran car owner, 60-year-old Bud Moore, and his young driver from Virginia, Ricky Rudd. Finishing second will be Joe Ruttman. Terry Labonte is third. Alan Kulwicki fourth, and Kyle Petty fifth. Bobby Hillen, Ken Schrader, Bobby Allison, Derek Cope, and Jody Ridley round out the top 10 in the Sovereign Bank 500 at Martinsville, Virginia.
Ricky Rudd can't wait to get out of that car. It's hot in there.
We'll visit with him right after this. Benny Parsons, it was a banner day for the Fords of Martinsville. They took first, fourth, and 5 of the top 10 spots.
It was, and it's very surprising, as I mentioned earlier on the show, very surprising the success that the Fords had here today at Martinsville.
Let's visit a happy but tired Ricky Rudd in Victory Lane with Dick Berggren.
Well, it's a tired Ricky Rudd that jumped out of his car and went into the nearest available shade. Hot in there today.
Well, it was a little warm. You know, my car water temperature and oil temperature gauges run real hot all day and kept the car real hot. And plus, early goings, I knocked the grill out, did a lot of body damage, and it seemed like about 4 or 5 different times I had to start dead last and come back up through the pack. So I had to work a little bit harder for this one today.
So many competitors dropped out. Were you worried about your equipment?
Not really. I felt like I had a real good feel for when I was abusing the car, when I wasn't, and I could run the car hard, and I could tell that it was just starting to give up, and I'd back it off a little bit. I tried to be real careful not to stick it right up underneath somebody's back bumper and run too many laps. It seemed like my water temperature gauges and my brakes, they'd go away when I couldn't get air to the scoop. So just sort of had to play a wait and see race all day. Different guys run strong during the day, and we didn't really turn it on until about the last 200 laps.
The victory is worth about $40,000 in cash and assures your winner's circle program. That's about $250,000. So today's win's worth about $300,000. How do you feel about all that money?
Well, it feels pretty good. You ought to ask my wife. I don't think I'll see too much of it.
And his wife was the very first person to him. Ricky Rudd sitting here cooling off in the shade in victory at Martinsville Speedway.
There's Ricky and Linda and Ricky's sister, Carolyn.
That was Carolyn.
Congratulations.
Reached in and gave him a peck on the cheek.
Big day for the Fords here in Martinsville, Virginia. Buddy Arrington, the local favorite, got the Goodies Headache Award. Alan Kulwicki, the rookie, fine fourth-place finish, won him the Timex Award as well.
Well, Mike Skinner, you look like you're in great shape for that long, hot day in the sun in Martinsville.
I'm faking it.
Yeah, how do you feel?
I'm pretty tired. I need to join a health spa. We spent so much work on the car and worked half the night every night for the last 6 weeks. That's got me wore down in itself, and I haven't had any time to work out much. I get up in the morning, do a few curls, and I haven't had no time to jog, ain't had no time to work out. I'm out of shape. I'll be honest with you. I need to get in shape. I'm going to play with these guys. I need to get in shape.
And right at his feet is the rear end differential that almost put him out of the event. Mike Skinner manages to finish here this afternoon with the camera car.
Well, that's our rookie in-car camera driver, Mike Skinner. And there's track president Clay Earl, beaming. His hat says sold out across the front of it. Good testimony to the success of this Martinsville Speedway and the close competition. SCTN congratulates Ricky Rudd, winner of the Sovereign Bank 500.
This SCTN
The executive producers of SCTN are Jim Wigglesworth and Dick Ozan. Operations Director John R. Lewis. SCTN's cameras next travel to the unique tri-oval 2.5-mile superspeedway at Pocono, Pennsylvania. Consult your local listings for the date and time of our next SCTN NASCAR racing telecast. For Dick Berggren and Grand National Champion Benny Parsons, this is Mike Joy, hoping you've enjoyed this presentation of the Sovereign Bank 500 at Martinsville, Virginia.